Miami Mayor Francis Suarez, he joins us from his city where he's quarantined after testing positive for the virus. He continues his mayoral duties, which includes issuing a stay-at-home curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. for all Miami residents. He joins us from Miami. Now, you went into quarantine earlier this month, but you had direct contact with someone who had later tested positive. You have subsequently got tested. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm in day 18 of my quarantine. I got tested because someone in a delegation with the Brazilian president that came to Miami tested positive. And so I went into immediate quarantine 18 days ago. The Department of Health from the state asked me to come in and get tested. I got tested, and to my surprise, the next day was told that I was positive. So I knew that that was going to set off a chain reaction of things. I had to go public with it. Obviously, my family had to get tested. About 40 members of my administration had to get tested to make sure that there wasn't contagion in our government, which services about 600,000 or 700,000 people. So it was very difficult. I was the second positive person in all of Miami-Dade County, which is a metropolitan area of 3 million people. And so it's been a journey, that's for sure.
How are you feeling?
I feel great. I've been very lucky, Larry. I was lucky to be relatively asymptomatic. I never got a fever. I never got a sore throat. All I had was congestion in my worst moment. I had to take Tylenol for aches a couple of times. Didn't have too many scary moments throughout. So I was one of those ones that didn't have, some of these very severe cases of it. Obviously, that also means that as someone with relatively little symptoms, I could have given it to several hundred people had I not taken the precautions to quarantine early and take all these preventative measures that our doctors are recommending.
Mr. Mayor, you issued a curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. for your citizens. Have they been obeying it?
They have been obeying. We've been extremely proactive. I've been proactive as mayor, even in the face of criticism. I was the first mayor to cancel major events like Ultra and Calle Ocho Festival. In the case of Ultra, it's 150,000 people coming from 105 different countries would have been happening in the last few days. And Calle Ocho was 250,000 people. We were the second city to issue a stay-at-home order and the first one to issue a curfew. And the reason why we're doing that is because all the medical experts agree that that is the fastest way for us to flatten the curve, the fastest way for us to be able to return to normalcy. Obviously, it's uncomfortable and it's something that is only used under very limited circumstances, but it's something that we felt was necessary to protect our residents and get us back to normal life as quickly as possible.
Emotionally for you, was it tough to do?
The toughest part for me was being away from my two children. I have a 6 year old and I have a 2 year old daughter, 6 year old son, and a 2 year old daughter. Being able to hug them, not being able to hold them has been very, very weird for me. And obviously, I'm a people person. I love to interact with people. I love to hug people, and so it's different. Being away from essentially any human contact for 18 days has been very strange. But I'm looking forward to hopefully my second test result today. I tested negative yesterday, and I'm hoping to be able to get out of quarantine under the strictest protocol that the CDC requires.
There's been a lot of criticism of your governor, Ron DeSantis. The president has praised him. What's your assessment as to how the job he's doing?
I've been in constant communication with him. He has supported me in my measures to basically lock down our city. He has put in checkpoints, state border. He's also he's required, I'm sorry, all New Yorkers that are coming from New York to Miami to quarantine for 14 days. He's made that a requirement. And my understanding is he's had conversations with the president about limiting travel from a variety of hotspots to the city of Miami. So, from my perspective, he's been working well with us. Obviously, I know that there are people that would like him to implement a statewide stay-at-home order. He just implemented a stay-at-home order for South Florida, and I'm thankful that he did that because that follows what we're doing here. And certainly in urban areas where there's a higher concentration of people, it to require people to stay home and to require them not to be out past a certain time.
Could things get worse?
Of course they can, which is why we are implementing these strict measures. Dade County and the city of Miami are the epicenter of the coronavirus in Florida. We have the most cases by about 20-30% over Broward. So, certainly they could get worse. I don't think we're at what they call the apex or the peak yet. We're projecting that out 7 to 10 days from now. And we're hopeful that after that point, things will gradually get better. Our hospital systems are, at least for the moment, prepared on the personal protective equipment side, on the bed side, and on the ventilator side. Our community hospitals have 2,000 ventilators, which is more than half the country of Italy. We have the fourth largest public hospital in America. But as with, we've seen with New York, this can get out of control very, very quickly. So I'm glad that, we've been very proactive to implement the most aggressive measures to make sure that we come out of this as quickly as possible. We have a far, far lower mortality rate than the average. The national mortality rate, the last time I checked, was a little bit over 1.3%. We're at 0.03. And so our hospital system right now is doing a fantastic job treating people that have COVID-19.
Mayor, I wish you well. I hope you get better, and good luck to that great city.
Thank you, Larry. Likewise, and hope to see you soon in Miami.